Man shot dead along Soesdijk-Linden Highway. Police are investigating the fatal shooting of a 47-year-old man that occurred early this morning along the Soesdijk-Linden Highway. The deceased has been identified as Dion Sean Ramdihan, a Guyanese minibus driver and chicken farmer from Bamia. The incident took place around 2:30 a.m. on December 30, 2025, at a small zinc structure where Ramdihan resided. According to Ernest Hall, a 60-year-old chicken farmer who was with Ramdihan at the time, the two men had gone to bed around 10 p.m. on December 29. Hall reported to investigators that he was awakened around 2:30 a.m. by loud explosions, hearing Ramdihan calling for help and groaning in pain. He described how Ramdihan's groaning continued for a short period before he became motionless. Panicked, Hall ran out of the house to alert nearby residents. When police arrived on the scene, they found Ramdihan's body with multiple gunshot wounds, reportedly about 8. Several spent shells were recovered from the location, but the firearm used in the attack has not been located. Authorities are actively investigating the case, with the identity of the shooter still unknown. As the investigation continues, police are appealing for any information from the public that might assist in solving this tragic incident. Investigations are ongoing. Linden businessman fatally shot by alleged gunman. Linden businessman Amar Jones was shot and killed at his home this afternoon in a tragic incident allegedly involving 2 masked gunmen. The circumstances surrounding the shooting are still under investigation, and details are emerging as authorities gather evidence. This shooting marks the second violent incident to impact Region 10 within a 24-hour period, raising concerns about safety in the community. As this is a developing story, further updates will be provided as more information becomes available. Authorities are urging anyone with information related to the incident to come forward. Man charged with unlawful possession of firearm following alleged discharge at event. Kevin Adams, a 28-year-old unemployed resident of Beehive, East Coast Demerara, has been charged in connection with the alleged discharge of a loaded firearm during an event at Retrieve Hardcourt, Mackenzie, on Saturday, December 28, 2025. Police officers on duty at the venue reported intercepting Adams after observing him discharging a firearm. A subsequent search revealed a .32 Taurus pistol, complete with a magazine and 10 live .32 rounds, in his possession. Fortunately, no injuries were reported during the incident. On Monday, December 29th, Adams appeared before Her Worship, Magistrate Russell Liverpool, at the Linden Magistrates Court via Zoom. 3 charges were read to him: unlawful possession of firearm without license, possession of ammunition without a license, discharging a loaded firearm within 100 yards of a public way. Adams pleaded not guilty to all charges and was remanded to prison until January 13, 2026, as the investigation into the incident continues. Authorities remain vigilant in addressing firearm-related offenses to ensure public safety. Marlon da Silva committed to stand trial for murder. HGP Nightly News reports Magistrate Dylan Bess has committed Marlon da Silva to stand trial for the murder of his wife, Kenesha Juman Vaughn, during the next sitting of the assizes. The incident occurred on February 23, 2025. At the conclusion of the preliminary inquiry, defense attorneys urged the court to consider a manslaughter charge instead, arguing that the evidence indicated provocation, which would negate the intent required for a murder conviction. The defense referred to da Silva's unsworn statement and video footage, claiming the incident was the result of a sudden confrontation without any cooling-off period. They further highlighted Caribbean case law, asserting that a manslaughter charge is valid when provocation and excessive force are factors unless clear intent to kill or cause grievous bodily harm is established. The defense also argued that there is no duty to retreat under Guyanese law, urging the court either to discharge De Silva on self-defense grounds or to commit him only for manslaughter. However, Magistrate Bess ruled that critical issues such as the number of shots fired, the reasonableness of De Silva's response, and whether provocation was present are matters that should be determined by a jury. As a result, he committed De Silva on a murder charge. De Silva is represented by attorneys Glenn Hanuman, Sanjeev Dadadin, and Everton Singh Lamy, while prosecutors Kiswana Jefford and Nigel Hughes represented the Director of Public Prosecutions. The case will now proceed to trial as the legal proceedings continue. A 27-year-old man arrested after being found in stolen vehicle. A 27-year-old man was taken into custody by police after being found in a vehicle reported stolen from a distillery company. According to a police statement, the black 2017 Nissan X-Trail, license plate PWW2165, was reported stolen on December 29. The incident occurred around 7:30 p.m. when the vehicle was parked on the western side of Green Hart Street, while the driver entered a nearby supermarket. Upon returning, the driver discovered the vehicle missing and promptly reported the theft to the Mackenzie police station. Acting on information received, law enforcement later spotted the stolen vehicle in the vicinity of Redwood Crescent, Mackenzie. The suspect, a local resident, was arrested and taken to the Mackenzie police station, where he remains in custody as the investigation continues. The police stated that CCTV footage is being reviewed, and fortunately, no injuries were reported during the incident. The investigation remains ongoing. Tragic pedestrian accident claims life of 38-year-old woman. Leslyn Cupidor, a 38-year-old pedestrian, tragically lost her life in an early morning accident on Tuesday along the Providence Public Road. According to a release from police headquarters, Cupidor was struck by a speeding driver, a 33-year-old man from North Sophia, Greater Georgetown. She was crossing the road from east to west when the motorcar collided with her. The impact caused Cupidor to fall onto the roadway, resulting in significant injuries to her head and body. Emergency services pronounced her dead at the scene, and her body has been transported to the Memorial Gardens funeral home, where it awaits a post-mortem examination. Authorities conducted a breathalyzer test on the driver, which revealed readings of 0.04 and 0.08 micrograms, both below the legal limit of 35 micrograms. CCTV footage from the area is being reviewed and processed as part of the ongoing investigation. The driver remains in custody as police continue their inquiries into the tragic incident. Update: 3 arrested in connection with robbery and murder of Chinese national. 3 individuals have reportedly confessed to their roles in a robbery that resulted in the death of 61-year-old Chinese national Chen Yongping in Cumberland Village, East Kange, Burbus, on December 22, 2025. The incident occurred in the morning hours, during which Chen Yongping was attacked, ultimately leading to his tragic death. In the same incident, 32-year-old Chang Dongrong sustained severe injuries. A post-mortem examination conducted on December 24 confirmed that Yongping's death was due to shock and hemorrhage from multiple stab wounds. Regional Commander Shivprasad Bacchus announced that, acting on received information, police apprehended a 17-year-old from Bun Bush Dam and 2 29-year-olds from the Fort Ordnance Housing Scheme on Monday, December 29, 2025. During questioning, all 3 suspects admitted their involvement in the crime. Commander Bacchus confirmed that the suspects are currently in custody as the investigation continues into the circumstances surrounding this tragic incident. Tragic death of 15-month-old child in Queens. Mother arrested. Queens, New York. A 15-month-old child of Guyanese heritage was found dead on Monday in Jamaica, Queens, leading to the arrest of his mother, who has been charged with murder and endangering the welfare of a child. According to CBS News, the child, identified as Charlie Ramreka, was discovered unconscious and unresponsive at a residence on 157th Street, near 109th Avenue. Police reported that the boy's 28-year-old mother, Nicole Budhai, was also found at the scene with slash wounds to her wrists. Emergency responders transported both Budhai and her son to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center, where Charlie was pronounced dead. Authorities indicated that there was no blunt force trauma observed on the child's body, and the medical examiner is expected to determine the exact cause of death. Budhai was arrested later that night and is facing serious charges as the investigation unfolds. The incident has drawn significant attention, highlighting the tragic circumstances surrounding the young child's death. Chief Justice to rule on extradition challenge by the Mohammeds on January 5. Acting Chief Justice Navindra Singh has announced that he will deliver a ruling on the constitutional challenge to the Fugitive Offenders Amendment Act, brought forth by U.S. indicted businessmen Azruddin and Nazar Mohammed on Monday, January 5. The Mohammeds have filed an application in the High Court to block their extradition to the United States, where they face charges including money laundering, tax evasion, and wire fraud related to their company, Mohammeds Enterprises. The legal representation for the Mohammeds, attorneys at-law Cyan Durjan, Damian De Silva, and Roysdale Ford, argues that the amendment's provisions, particularly the authority to proceed, ATP, that initiated their extradition, are unconstitutional. The respondents in this case include Home Affairs Minister Wanij Walrond, Attorney General Anil Nanlal, and Magistrate Judy Latchman, who is overseeing the extradition proceedings. The Mohammeds are seeking to quash the ATP by writ of certiorari and are requesting declarations that the two ministers have no role in issuing the ATP. They aim to prohibit further involvement of these ministers in their extradition and to suspend the ongoing proceedings pending the High Court's decision. This legal challenge comes shortly after Magistrate Latchman dismissed a previous constitutional application filed by the Mohammeds, which sought to refer their extradition case to the High Court. She characterized their arguments as frivolous and vexatious, stating that they were resolved by higher courts and deemed an abusive process. Following the proceedings, Attorney General Nanlal described the challenge as a delaying tactic, emphasizing that serious legal issues have not been presented. He asserted, "Extradition law is quite settled. It's a straightforward area of law now," and expressed belief that the Mohammeds would not succeed in their challenge. Nanlal further explained that the Fugitive Offenders Amendment Act provides a comprehensive system of safeguards for individuals affected by extradition proceedings, allowing for appeals to the High Court and beyond. The Mohammeds' extradition is sought under the Guyana, United Kingdom Extradition Treaty, with the U.S. government formally submitting its request on October 30, 2025. They face 11 criminal charges, with the possibility of significant prison sentences if convicted. These charges follow sanctions imposed over a year ago for evasion of taxes on gold exports, specifically related to the omission of over 10,000 kilograms of gold from customs declarations and avoiding more than $50 million in duty taxes. Taxi driver arrested following altercation with neighbor. A 31-year-old taxi driver was arrested on Sunday after allegedly inflicting a serious injury on his 52-year-old neighbor during a violent confrontation. According to a report from police headquarters, the incident occurred around 12:30 a.m. in Enmore. The victim, a laborer, suffered a chop to the head and is currently admitted in stable condition at the Enmore Regional Hospital. The altercation reportedly began as a verbal argument between the two men, both residents of Enmore. During the dispute, the taxi driver is said to have seized a cutlass from the older man and struck him on the left side of his head. Following the assault, the victim collapsed a short distance away. Law enforcement officers on mobile patrol arrived shortly thereafter and promptly transported him to the hospital for medical treatment. The suspect was later apprehended at the Enmore police station and was also taken to the hospital for medical attention. Investigation into the incident is ongoing as authorities gather more details. President Ali announces action on driver's license fraud. President Dr. Irfan Ali revealed today that early next year, significant actions will be taken in connection with widespread fraud in the driver's licensing system, stating, "You will see a lot of people being sent home." This announcement came during an interview with a panel of journalists, where the president discussed a recent audit that uncovered numerous discrepancies in the licensing process. Earlier this month, he had indicated that authorities possess a list of names of individuals who improperly obtained their driver's licenses. "We have all the names of persons who got a practical paper but never passed the theoretical exam," Dr. Ali said. He emphasized that those individuals will have 6 weeks to come forward and undergo the proper process again. If they do not comply, the names will be published in the newspaper, and their licenses will be suspended, followed by prosecution. "That is the only way we can beat this corruption," he asserted. The president also highlighted the need to prosecute all parties involved in the fraud, not just drivers. He noted that the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, issued more licenses than there were practical and theoretical passes, prompting the need for a thorough reassessment of the entire process. Dr. Ali reaffirmed the government's commitment to employing technology to enhance the integrity of the licensing system. While he outlined the scope of the upcoming actions, he did not specify which individuals would be sent home. This initiative reflects the administration's broader effort to address corruption and ensure accountability within government processes. DPP announces disposition of 310 cases in 2025, majority related to murder. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, led by Shalimar Ali Haq, announced today that it has successfully disposed of 310 cases throughout the year, with a significant portion related to murder. In a release, the DPP's office detailed that among the disposed cases were 100 related to murder, 16 for manslaughter, along with numerous cases involving sexual offenses, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, accessory after the fact to murder, felonious wounding, and wounding with intent. Out of the total cases, 200 were tried across the high courts in Demerara, Berbice, and Essequibo, while 110 cases were discontinued by the DPP. Specifically, 130 cases were presented at the Demerara Assizes, 26 at the Berbice Assizes, and 44 at the Essequibo Assizes. According to the DPP's report, the office secured 29 convictions and received 94 guilty pleas. In contrast, there were 39 not guilty verdicts rendered by juries, 44 formal verdicts of not guilty, 2 hung juries, and 1 aborted trial. In 2025, the DPP's office also received over 220 committal documents, of which 19 cases were discontinued due to insufficient evidence. Furthermore, the office provided legal advice on 4,060 police files received from the Guyana Police Force. Looking ahead, the Demerara January 2026 Criminal Assizes is set to commence on Tuesday, January 13, 2026, with 126 cases listed for hearing before Acting Chief Justice Navindra Singh, Justice Gino Prasad, Justice Simone Morris, and Justice Hassan Yassin. This docket includes 30 murder cases, 7 manslaughter cases, 11 attempted murder cases, 1 trafficking in narcotics case, and 77 sexual offenses, which will be addressed in the Sexual Offenses Court. Additionally, the DPP's office has appeared in 43 matters in the Court of Appeal, dealing primarily with bail pending appeals against convictions and sentences. Of those, 20 applications were made, with 12 denied, 6 granted, and 2 withdrawn. Guyana Power and Light faces challenges as President promises improvements. The Guyana Power and Light, GPL, has been struggling with multiple challenges, resulting in persistent blackouts that have left citizens frustrated. In a year-end interview, President Dr. Irfan Ali acknowledged the issues but assured that significant developments are on the horizon to provide relief. Speaking with women journalists and students, President Ali attributed the increased power demand to ongoing national development, including the construction of thousands of homes and new businesses. This surge, combined with an aging power distribution system, has placed a heavy burden on GPL. While we have seen some improvements on the power side, we are still not where we want to be, President Ali stated. He noted ongoing management weaknesses within the organization and emphasized the government's commitment to fixing and reinvesting in the entire power infrastructure while ensuring a continuous supply. The president also pointed out that from 2015 to 2020, there was significant underinvestment in GPL and its primary grid, the Demerara-Burbus interconnected system, under the prior APNU plus AFC government. As a result, his administration now faces the formidable challenge of rapidly expanding GPL's capabilities to meet rising demand. To address this, the government is investing in new local generators and has sourced additional power from 2 power ships to handle excess demand. Efforts are also underway to modernize the outdated transmission and distribution network. Looking ahead, the Wales Gas-to-Energy project is in development, which is expected to add an additional 300 megawatts MW of power to the national grid, nearly equivalent to the current generation capacity. As these initiatives unfold, the administration remains dedicated to improving the reliability of electricity supply and meeting the needs of Guyanese citizens. New Charity Wharf to boost economic opportunities for Pomeroon farmers. Pomeroon farmers are set to benefit from new economic opportunities with the construction of the $880 million Charity Wharf, according to Minister of Public Works Juan Edgehill. Speaking on Monday, he emphasized that the new facility is essential for maintaining and expanding economic activities in Region 2. The minister stated, "The government does not want to shut down commerce. We aim to strengthen it by providing safe, modern infrastructure." He underscored the importance of ensuring that those who come to Charity can land, move their produce, and return safely. Currently under construction, the Charity Wharf will facilitate safer docking for vessels transporting agricultural products from the Pomeroon River, enabling smoother loading and unloading processes while reducing risks for farmers. This project is part of a broader initiative to protect livelihoods and investments in the region. In addition to the wharf, Edgehill highlighted the government's focus on critical sea defense works aimed at preventing saline water from encroaching on farmlands. When we deal with sea defenses, it's not just about blocking seawalls. It's about safeguarding the land to ensure farmers can continue their agricultural activities, he explained. This initiative aims to protect homes and preserve economic investments. To further enhance transportation options for farmers, the government is preparing to launch a boat service that will aid in moving produce directly from the Pomeroon to the new Charity Wharf. Edgehill also provided updates on developments at Purika, where a modern deepwater port facility is underway. This new terminal will accommodate larger vessels and serve as a major hub for farmers from Purika, Kubu, and surrounding areas. From the Purika terminal, we want to engage with CARICOM trade, opening a market for our farmers, he said, noting that the facility will include immigration and customs services to facilitate regional trade. Discussions are ongoing between the Ministry of Public Works and the Fisheries Department to create storage and packaging facilities at the terminal, ensuring that produce can be inspected and prepared for international shipping. Additionally, Edgehill mentioned the government's procurement of 100,000 streetlights nationwide as part of a broader citizen security strategy. Improved lighting, he noted, will contribute to safer communities, encouraging greater investment and economic participation. People's investments must be safe, he concluded, reinforcing the government's commitment to fostering a secure and productive environment for all citizens. Comprehensive assessment of gold mining sector planned for January 2026. In an effort to combat illegal activities within the gold mining sector, President Dr. Irfan Ali announced that a complete assessment will be conducted on January 5, 2026. This initiative highlights the government's commitment to addressing various challenges in the sector, which he described as requiring urgent attention. During a recent year-end interview with journalists and students, President Ali elaborated on plans to tighten regulations in the gold mining industry. He stated, "We will link the mercury they buy with their declarations. If they have land they are working on and registered dredges but no declarations, we're going to repossess those lands. There's no sense in allowing them to destroy the environment if the land is not in use." The president confirmed that the assessment will pave the way for strong decisions regarding the future of the sector. Recent weeks have seen government bodies and local mining associations reiterate the rules governing mining, emphasizing that gold must be sold exclusively to the Guyana Gold Board or authorized licensed dealers. In alignment with these efforts, Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo had previously stressed the importance of strengthening the gold exportation system and enhancing penalties and charges to combat gold smuggling. He noted that local authorities have made strides in identifying new tactics used by smugglers. Actions taken include the establishment of a task force responsible for rigorous assessments of gold declarations. The task force, which comprises key officials including the Attorney General, the Minister of Finance, the Commissioner General of the Guyana Revenue Authority, the head of the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Governor of the Central Bank and representatives from the Guyana Gold Board, has been actively identifying loopholes in existing regulations and is working to address these vulnerabilities. As the January assessment approaches, the government remains committed to promoting sustainable practices in the gold mining sector and ensuring compliance with regulations to protect both the environment and the economy. Guyana's 60th Independence Anniversary celebrations to highlight local culture and creative economy. In 2026, Guyana will commemorate its 60th anniversary as an independent nation, and President Dr. Irfan Ali has announced that the celebrations will be a year-long affair featuring an emphasis on local creativity and culture. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, President Ali outlined plans for grand festivities, underscoring a commitment to fully embrace and promote Guyana's rich cultural heritage. "Our goal is to invest heavily in creating a film industry and entertainment hubs to elevate our local arts," President Ali proclaimed. He stressed the importance of ensuring that local artists receive a structured income, facilitating a thriving environment for creativity. This initiative is part of the government's broader vision to develop the orange economy, which encompasses economic activities related to creativity, culture, and innovation. President Ali urged the local private sector to back ventures that will harness Guyanese talent in time for the significant anniversary. The president further elaborated on plans for a grand homecoming, promising a plethora of activities throughout the year to celebrate this milestone. Key projects will also include beautifying the capital city, Georgetown, along with enhancing public spaces across the nation. In addition to promoting local creativity, President Ali expressed a desire to attract more major cruise lines to Guyana, enhancing the nation's tourism and economic prospects. As 2026 approaches, all eyes will be on Guyana to see how these ambitious plans unfold, marking a significant chapter in the nation's history. APNU acknowledges Tint regulations adjustment, advocates for legal oversight. The A Partnership for National Unity, APNU, has responded to the recent adjustments in the Tint regulations as announced by the Minister of Home Affairs during her December 29 interview, reiterating their concerns first raised in a statement on November 29, 2025. In her interview, the minister acknowledged that the previous Tint enforcement system was disorganized and heavily non-compliant, necessitating the establishment of formal regulations, calibrated standards, and safeguards to address what she termed a lawless environment. The introduction of clear vehicle light transmission, VLT, thresholds, a commencement date of January 1, 2026, a 3-month compliance period, certified equipment, and a digital registry emphasizes the critical need for regulatory clarity prior to enforcement actions. We welcome the movement towards structure, transparency, and reduced punitive measures, said Sherrod Duncan, MP. However, he stressed that it is imperative that enforcement should follow the establishment of laws rather than precede them. Citizens should not face policing practices before the rules are clearly gazetted, communicated, and uniformly understood, Duncan added. The minister's explanations also revealed areas needing further parliamentary consideration, particularly regarding the scope of discretionary exemptions and mechanisms to ensure equality under the law. APNU intends to support measures that enhance public safety while maintaining that all enforcement initiatives must be legally grounded, consistently applied, and subject to legislative oversight. Duncan reaffirmed APNU's commitment to ensuring that any new regulations serve not only to protect public safety, but also uphold the rights and clarity expected by citizens under the law.